Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be going over the biggest draft risers. This is a quick video because today I was actually working on something different that's coming out tomorrow that I guarantee you will enjoy if you're watching this video. That's for dang sure. And yeah, basically I've got tabs open here on all of probably a good 7-8 players even, and it's all on NFLDraftBuzz.com if you guys would like to go visit their site and look at some draft profiles. It gives you a lot, and their strengths and weaknesses down here. We're just basically going to be going over all that. And yes, number one is already spoiled. It's Quintin Mitchell, the Toledo corner. At 6 foot 196 it's good size. I wouldn't exactly say he was off the map last year. Comes in this year, a lot of hype around him, especially recently. And this number right here with his 40 time at 4.55 with a school like Toledo, that was probably like the earliest they had of him. You don't even see his age, so there is limited like paperwork or on the record stuff about Quintin and how he tested, so you can't really rely on this being true. He plays a lot faster than that, and you guys can kind of go down and look at his strengths here. Attacks the ball with authority, with quick read and reactability, meaning he just goes and flashes toughness and aggressive nature versus the run, which is also something that you look for in a corner that is willing to come down and make the tackle. Very aggressive attacking receiver, blocks and tackles like a safety, same sort of thing, kind of just playing into his physicality. Has a straight line speed to recover. His ball skills are tremendous. Flashes intimidating attitude and will crush tiptoeing receivers across the middle. Shows click and close ability, backpedal, blah blah blah. The ball skills, he's got good traits for sure. Has good size as a fluid mover, which most of the time doesn't mean like you're fast. It just more means you can kind of flip your hips a little bit better, change the directions there, which you need as a cornerback. And then when it comes to weaknesses, give up far too many big plays, which is expected, honestly, of younger corners, especially playing at a place like Toledo. You're not one of those guys that's getting coached up with the highest levels, the best coaches. Mitchell runs well, but he doesn't have elite recovery speed, meaning if he gets beat early, there's a very low chance he's able to, catch back up if someone's on like just a go route and he gets beat off the line. Not a whole lot he can do about it, as he doesn't reach that same acceleration point as the receiver who's already in a running start. Has a high backpedal and loses a step in transition. Plays with adequate speed, but there are concerns about his ability to handle the truly explosive speedsters at the NFL. Kind of just goes back to the same thing. He might be a fluid and agile mover, but he's not exactly the best straight line runner. And coming out this year, he has 16 passes defended, 1 interception, and only got 3 yards on the return, which, I mean, you don't really care about any of that. Solo tackles at 30, meaning he only had 8 assisted tackles, which is actually pretty good for a corner. Next guy we'll talk about is Tandre Sweat, 6'6", 334, great size at tackle, moves like it moves really well. I won't say like anything, because we honestly don't really know where he's gonna come in with his 40 time. But yeah, this guy is an absolute mauler in the run game. You can see his run blocking here, and his pass block developed a lot over this last summer and just came out and looked really good. Definitely gonna be considered in the first round by many a teams. Scouting report, his strengths at his best mauling in the run game, like I already mentioned. Has long arms that allow him to survive as a pass protector on the edge, and he is a right tackle, by the way, because some of these guys are just honestly listed at tackle and you're like, oh, okay, so they just play out tackle. Like, no, you need to kind of fit them. So left and right tackle does matter, and I kind of am bummed a lot of people don't actually tend to put it there. They just put tackle, and his sub position, which I mean it should just be position, right tackle. It's kind of funny, but whatever. You guys kind of just look around, see how he's nice and strong. Mauler, has a powerful lower body, which helps him kind of gain leverage at the point of attack, coordinated when moving to the second level as a run blocker and landing blocks on the move. That's kind of self-explanatory considering he's at his best mauling in the run game. Can be beat off the edge coming off of his stance, lunging to reach speedy wide rushers. So like someone that would be really out wide, JT Tuimoloau is like the one that kind of stands out to me. Not on tape against Tandre Sweat, but someone that just generally ends up pretty wide and has that good first step, might just get past him initially. Has the traits to improve, but Fuaga gets impatient in his set, lunging and reaching and generally playing with poor balance at times. Fuaga is inconsistent with his kick side, could be a liability, not a legitimacy, whatever the hell that word was, against speed to power rush early in his career, which is expected. He's like he's going to be a process as a pass blocker, but he's already so good in the run game, and there's great upside with Tandre Sweat. The next guy up is Troy Franklin, the 6'3", 187. He looked a little smaller when I watched some Oregon games this year, and then looking at his measurements at 6'3", and I went and watched a game of his like on film. So he actually does look a little bit bigger than 6 foot. I thought he would have been around that 5'11 area. So to see him at 6'3 was kind of surprising. 187 is a bit thin, not as thin as like others. I mean, Devontae Smith, Emmanuel Forbes, Tank Dell, like really come to mind there as lighter receivers, but only 20, probably be, he'll be 21 by the time he gets drafted and has that elite speed and quickness. You guys can see all this right here, just mainly a deep threat in these percentages. This overall rating, a lot of it is weighed by this deep threat here. Should be the top 10 of the second round is where they have him projected. I don't know how true these draft projections are or can be. You guys kind of see this fluid athlete with explosive burst and can breeze past defenders, quick first step, meaning good acceleration, and can keep that speed up while being fluid, nice at changing directions, good cuts, everything like that. He's extremely dangerous in the open field, showing the vision and creativity to run through entire defenses, has elite balance, tight roping the sideline in and out of his breaks, showing excellent start stop ability and burst. Kind of goes back to the same thing as that first trait there, or first strength. Franklin fights his way off the line of scrimmage against press coverage, showing quick, violent, good hands. That's what I like to see about these lighter receivers. We kind of highlighted his weight here, so what you really look for them is still some sort of physicality, and it looks like Troy Franklin has that. And at 6'3", you don't exactly think, oh, he's not going to use his hands. He's got longer arms and can swipe away off his release, which if you guys don't know what that is, like if you're getting pressed by the cover or by the corner in man coverage, you're going to need to beat them. And to do that, sometimes you need to get a little physical, and it's nice to see with a lighter receiver still fights his way off the line of scrimmage, quote unquote. Although Franklin is more of a possession target, okay, this is a massive ad. Okay, just ignore that. Although Franklin is more of a possession target than a field stretcher, his competitive demeanor, not determination, and ability to make plays after the catch make him a threat in the middle of the field. Has elite speed and cutting ability and good hands and toughness. Lacks the ideal size, but has a similar body type to Antonio Brown, which is kind of funny. He's dangerous in catch and run situations through his run after catch ability, could be further enhanced. Honestly, it's just a good athlete that puts it to work in receiving game, whether it's through the middle or underneath, or whether it comes after the catch. Lacks effectiveness as a run blocker. He's kind of light and needs to enhance his physicality in the run after catch situations, meaning he's not willing to go truck or break tackles through anybody. He'll have to develop better feel for sitting down against zone coverage. Doesn't have the size to consistently win on the outside, and we kind of already said that. Overall, he was not even in like the third round, and now he's getting talked about as a potential first round pick or back of the first round, early second. So he has kind of risen up people's boards, including mine, and I'll keep my eye on him for sure and watch a lot more tape on him. Moving on to the next guy though, Jaden Daniels, the quarterback, and he will be coming out this year. It looks like Jaden Daniels, 6'4", come out at the draft looking around 23 years old. So should be interesting to see how that kind of affects teams' decisions. I don't think it would too much though. Dual threat, that's literally what he is. He might just be a runner. Early in his career, I haven't liked what I've seen with his inconsistencies in his accuracy in general with his arm, but I do love what I see with his deep ball at times, and he's such a great runner. It's crazy. Exceptional athletic ability with reported 4.5 40-yard dash speed. It looks better than that. Displays natural speed and gains significant yardage as a runner with his 6'3" frame. Exhibits high proficiency in pocket maneuvering, evading pressure effortlessly. Impressive arm strength, allowing him to target all three levels of the field with ease. Demonstrates quick release, especially on short and intermediate throws. And that's kind of where he starts to miss though, is when his process is rushed. And we can talk about his arm talent all day. It's there for sure. But when he starts to get pressure or feel pressure, and it kind of speeds up his mind and his process and how he throws, that's when we start to see kind of things kind of happen. And that's kind of where it gets a little sketchy for me as a top 10 pick. I don't think he'd go that high unless he starts to just show up and show out through the whole offseason, bowl games, and combine. We'll see how that kind of ages. No, we stopped right here. Sound decision making ability, distinguish between movements and aggressive, those blah 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 blah, meaning it doesn't like to turn the ball over pretty much. Consistent drops, smooth footwork. I like that, but he has so much time to run, or so much time to throw in the pocket. It's actually insane. Outstanding running ability. We've already been over that. Brings leadership qualities as a season starter and presenting no athletic limitations and fitting the dual threat quarterback profile perfectly. I do agree with that. Something to also add into that strength category is he's gotten better literally every year as a college football quarterback, which you like to see as well after not starting off too good and relying on his legs a lot. He's really developed as a passer and definitely does look to be one of the better quarterback and upside prospects in this class. And that is what has risen his draft stock so much. man, he was getting talked about pretty low. And as the season's progressed in these, especially these last few weeks, last month or so, he has risen in crazy amounts for sure. But basically, weaknesses: struggles to consistently operate from the pocket, particularly when throws across all field levels, displays discomfort and inconsistency when required to make extended progressions. He likes to stick on his first one a lot too. So say like Malik Neighbors is the first read, he kind of stares that down a little too long before it's, before you should look away after it's not open. So inconsistent throwing motion, which hampers accuracy, timing, and power, lacks proper lower body engagement, resulting in reduced throw power and accuracy, especially on sideline passes. See those get away from him sometimes. Despite ample experience, evident stagnation in his development, faces issues connecting with his throwing motion. His legs kind of goes up to this one. Inconsistent throwing motion. Physically, presents a concern due to his slender 185-pound frame. Yeah, that's a little bit of an issue, especially with how much he freaking takes hits. He gets drilled literally every game, which is crazy. Deep ball accuracy leaves much to be desired, exhibits multiple overthrows in deep third. I've never heard that. And occasional off-target shorter passes. There is inconsistencies there and sometimes puts a little too much butter on it, but when he's in rhythm, he definitely can throw a deep ball just as good as anybody else in this class, which makes him really intriguing. So Jaden Daniels is the guy to talk about here, and is the only quarterback on this list. Now, Jaylen Powe was kind of considered a complementary piece to the Washington offense and Rome Odunze, and has really made a name for himself this year. He is a sophomore. He is still generally young. He does run good, nice, precise routes, but he is mostly a deep threat as well. I think that that's the archetype for a lot of college receivers coming out, is just a deep threat. Found the word there, but Powe also proved to be a force in catch and run situations, a violent runner, which is something that they use a lot over there in Washington, is a lot of stuff around the line of scrimmage. You'd like to get him out in space or let him break a tackle and then let him kind of run, so that's also good. Violent runner with the ball in his hands, very good working outside. The numbers showing excellent ball tracking skills. He does the little things well, Jesus Christ, I'm losing it. Basically what they're saying is he is good as a receiver down the field, as good as he is catching the ball and running after the catch. He's super good, and you guys can look at the strengths and weaknesses here for sure, and just realize that he is he's not like a Debo type, but he's like not a poor man's Debo either. He doesn't really have that running back build. I don't know how I'd put it, but he is very dangerous after the catch, but can track the ball well downfield and go up and get it, and a precise route runner, making good cuts and stuff like that. Quick stop ability. He'll have to develop a better feel for sitting down against zone coverage. A lot of college guys do, and that's just kind of a fact. Powe lacks the twitch to create consistent separation, and despite his size and ability to track the ball downfield, Powe isn't great on contested catches. Powe doesn't have the ability as a run blocker or violent run after catch ability. Now, this is kind of condescending to what they've set up here. I think what they really mean is if you're clogged up and you have two guys going after your legs, you're probably not going to break out of that. But once he has some time to get at full speed, he'll truck right through a guy. Pretty sure that's what they're saying here. I haven't watched a whole lot of Jaylen Powe, and I will start to soon. So he's another riser. And then a corner to offset the wide receiver. TJ Tampa wasn't talked about a lot until he started to play well actually this year, and comes out. He is a senior. I don't know if he's eligible for return, and he probably won't after getting considerate draft hype, so he'll probably be coming out this year at 22 years old by the time he gets drafted. 6'2", 200, great measurables. 4.45 was the last reported 40 time he had. You can see here his tackling's at a 67. That's actually pretty high for a corner. Run defense at an 81, again high for a corner. Coverage at 90, zone and man press there, so overall coverage is good, and understanding and all that good stuff. And then his zone is a little worse than his man, especially when he's pressed. Should be a mid-second round pick is where they kind of have him projected. I'd have him a little bit higher than that, just off traits alone. His strengths, plays with natural balance and ultra quick feet to mirror underneath, and he's tremendous at reading routes and reading quarterbacks. That's what I like a lot, is good DBs with good instincts for sure. Does a good job getting his head around. Won't get penalized as much, but as they say, I think down here, feet aren't suspected. No, okay, so I thought there was a weakness on him that said that he'd probably get flagged a bit. So contract the ball well downfield. Same thing about getting his head around, playing the ball, tracks and plays the ball well, good hands, provides very tight man coverage with playmaking ability in zone. Just based off of his instincts, I'm guessing he has at least adequate straight line speed, which is good, and fluidity is what you look for as well in a DB, and it seems like he has that. Not a major liability in man coverage, good enough foot speed and length to stay with slot receivers and 4 wide set on short patterns. Like if a DB breaks inside on a quick slant and he's playing the slot and needs to break on that, he probably can, but it doesn't it's not like he's always going to make that play, and that's why they say not a major liability. And then we can go down here to his weaknesses. Not fully consistent on making the interception in front of receivers. Best lined well off the line of scrimmage due to a high stiff back pedal. Feet aren't ideal. Gets sloppy in his back pedal. Sluggish. Suspect technician who too often lets the action come to him, and energy and effort are too inconsistent. So a lot to like, and there is actually a few big knocks to TJ Tampa. Hopefully you can clean that up with coaching, and if they don't, he might not pan out as high a pick, but I still think he's a considerable starter at the next level. If not, you're just kind of like a rotational corner, which isn't bad at all either. Now this mammoth of a human being, Tandre Sweat, standing at 6'4", 262, not 262, 362, is lined up to play either nose tackle or DT, or defensive tackle 3-tech, basically just 3-tech, lining up just in front of the guard and center instead of just playing over the center. So I'm be curious where he gets drafted to. It's a lot of scheme related stuff that relies on where he lines up and where he'll be amazing. But look at this right here. Run defense and pass rush are both crazy. He has 40 tackles and only 16 of them are solo. That's kind of worrisome. And only 2 sacks on this season, which is fine. I'm not like all against this or anything like that. As long as a player looks good on film, I'm pretty sure that's fine. I'm not saying it's the like production's everything and film is everything. I think there's an even balance, but if a player looks good enough, then obviously whatever. Plays with the leverage at a point of attack. Well, you can kind of see that coming at his side. Despite his relatively tall frame, Sweat typically plays low enough at pad level, natural power to push the pocket with a bull rush. His hand use is excellent, which is huge. At nose tackle, at his size, if he could really translate with strong, excellent hand usage, he should be pretty good at just shedding blockers in general and be a good run stuffer immediately, rather than just coming in and kind of just being a big body in the middle. Kind of just clogs up the line. Has the upper body strength to rock his opponent back onto his heels, no doubt. Combines strength and footwork to fill holes inside as well. Recovers from cut blocks or falling on his way to make a tackle, which is good. Good balance at his size is a relatively good trait. Penetrates through gaps, often forcing running backs to elude him or the back end of the offensive line he's pushing before they even reach the line. Sweat remains a bit raw. Sweat is inconsistent with his hand use and lacks violence in his hands. That is once again condescending, but I'm sure they're talking about it in 2 different senses, where right here his hand use is excellent. I'm guessing they're talking a little bit more technically, and this is a little bit more like strength wise. Like, you have the hand placement, but you're probably not willing to push. You're more trying to swipe, and they're saying he's good at swiping versus really having the violence in his hands to push. He struggles to shed blockers and doesn't show ideal lateral movement skills. You shouldn't at 362. If you did, Jalen Carter-esque, and should be going far in front of the first round, but that's probably why his draft stock isn't as high. He's a straight line mover and tends to struggle to disengage from blockers due to a lack of ideal length. That is also something, and without that lateral ability or athletic, moving, you can't just push off and go make a play. Most of the time, you're pretty slow and predictable at his size, so unfortunate for sure. Still a huge riser this season, and I look for him to go maybe early second and or mid-second. If he sneaks in the first round, it would surprise me, I'm not going to lie, but he was someone that was generally lower on people's boards and has risen recently. Now, currently, one of the, if not the top safety in this class, Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota, has done a lot for his draft stock this year. Came in getting talked about as a lower draft prospect, not someone you're really looking for in the first round, but his name and how he continues to play football at Minnesota, and if he wants to go back, go ahead. I think he has another year eligibility, I heard earlier in the year. I don't know if that's true or not, but 6'2", 210 ideal frame. He is a senior, having that the initial experience just around football and the game in general, around multiple different quarterbacks, is good. Plays inside the Big Ten where there is some pretty good quarterbacks. Yeah, we already went over his measurables. His arm length's pretty good, and that is all good as well. Lacks a little bit of straight line speed, but we don't know how recent and or reliable this 4.6 number is. Quarterback when targeted, or quarterback rating when targeted, I see 25.7. That's actually pretty good. Good tackling skills. Run defense is fine. Coverage is really good. Really uses his, instincts, I guess. Listing off some strengths of his for sure. Can get up under a receiver's chin and has the speed to flip his hips and run downfield. Nubin has the quick and surprisingly powerful hands to jostle receivers early, but he's at his best peeking into the backfield, meaning he can jam a receiver at the line, or he can play a little bit closer up to the line of scrimmage, but he's at his best when he's trying to read the run. Straight line speed to take a pick to the house. Can punish receivers with closing speed and desire to hit at max impact. Can track the ball well downfield. Gets his head around when playing in trail position. So yeah, the 4.6 number probably not reliable if they're talking about his you know, speed and stuff like that being good, and has the ability to catch back up with receivers, definitely running higher than 4.6. He's a plus tackler in run support as well. Tall framed with his long arms to match his powerful legs, straight line speed and fluidity in his hips. Turning and chasing downfield shouldn't be a problem. Versatile with experience as in the inbox safety and in man coverage as well, meaning probably slot corner and closer to linebacker looks, where you're looking at middle linebacker sitting in a box. That's probably where he can play as well. Nubin runs well, doesn't have elite recovery speed, meaning acceleration more than anything. Lowers his shoulder for the big hit rather than wrapping up securely. Come on, you're going for highlights. It's college ball, baby. Has a high back pedal and loses a step in transition, plays with adequate speed, but there are concerns about his ability to handle truly explosive speedsters at the NFL, as any safety, really. So not a whole lot to worry about here. Tyler Nubin looks like a pretty safe general prospect, should translate well to the next level. So that'll be all for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick little video, and tomorrow make sure to check back in for a fun video. It's going to be good, 100%. I guarantee you'll like it, especially if you like this one, and this one was not good by any means, but just thought I'd mention some big risers that should do really well at the next level. So that'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, go down, subscribe, go watch any of the past content on the channel. It's me guaranteeing you will enjoy all that content. That'll be all. Deuces.